In this video, we're going to look at the free DevExpress controls, which is a data grid, a scheduler, a calendar, a tab control, pop-ups, and much, much more. Let's not waste any more time, but let's just dive in. In this video, we're going to look at the free controls by DevExpress that are available for .NET MAUI and even still for Xamarin, and they're so good that it almost feels illegal that you will get them for free. But don't worry, they're absolutely legal, I assure you. And only in this video, and that's not even the complete set, we're going to see a data grid, a scheduler, a custom tab control, all kinds of editors with autocomplete and dropdown, and probably some else things that I'm forgetting. And then I didn't even talk about the documentation yet, which is really amazing. So we're going to see all of that and how to get started in your own project. But before we go over to my screen share, I want to be really transparent on how this came to be. That's something that I find important because I'm not getting sponsored for this, right? DevExpress did not ask me to make this video. They're not giving me any licenses. They're not giving me anything to do this. I just started looking into it and I liked what I see, and I wanted to do a video on that to support this. So maybe there's also going to be other stuff on Telerik and Sync Fusion and other partners of .NET MAUI, friends of .NET MAUI, but for now I'm doing it on DevExpress. And actually it's a funny story how this came to be, because the DevExpress people are apparently watching this channel, thank you so much for doing that, and they found this video on the free data grid control, which is open source and out there, which I really loved, and I love promoting those projects, and they reached out to me and said like, hey, you mentioned in your video that there are these vendors, right? The Telerik, Sync Fusion, DevExpress, and they have paid licenses. And usually they have some kind of trial, obviously, or they have a community license that you can use under certain terms. But DevExpress said like, hey, we have a set of controls that you can use for absolutely free. Right? And I didn't believe them at first, because if there's free, there's some kind of catch, and there is some small print. I'll be honest, I'll show you that in a little bit, but I think it's very generous still. So I'm going to show you in this video how to get started, how to get this license, and how to add it to your own project. Let's not delay any further and hop over to my screen. Don't worry, don't panic. This is not the new look of Visual Studio. This is Microsoft Edge, the browser, and I went to devexpress.com/MAUI, and here you will find all the information about the MAUI controls. So I'll just quickly scroll over it. You can see that data grid, you can see the collection view, the charts, all the controls that they have that you can use for free, bottom sheet shimmer, and they even have their own project templates. So if you install a Visual Studio extension, they have pre-built templates where they set up a couple of DevExpress specific things for you, and you can use that if that's what you prefer over the vanilla .NET MAUI project templates from Visual Studio, if that's what you want, if you're going to use these controls. So if we scroll all the way back up, then we have this big button, get it free. That sounds good, right? So I clicked it already. So I can go here to this new tab, and you can see Xamarin and .NET MAUI controls free offer from DevExpress. Now, this is where a little bit of the fine print is, but I don't worry, it's not too bad, I think. So you can use these products, these specific products, the data grid, scheduler, chart, collection view, data form, TabView, and a couple of bunch for Xamarin as well, between these versions, so between version 21 and 23, but I think they pushed back these versions as well, so the range becomes bigger as new controls, new versions are coming out. You can use those for free forever if you claim them right now. You have to create an account. That's how it usually goes with free stuff. But it's not only just to get your details and mine those, but it's also needed for the NuGet feed, the specific NuGet feed that you need to get the packages for your account, right? So create an account. You can even choose to not opt into the promotional newsletter and news. I would recommend that you do. You will get automatically updated about the amazing thing that DevExpress is up to for .NET MAUI. So just check that, and you can unsubscribe anytime you want. And then here is the real catch, right? This offer expires on December 20th, 2023. Now, this date has been pushed back a couple of times. Not too long ago, it said June. Before that, it said something else. I think they've been pushing back this date for more than a year now. So you can use it, well, actually you can claim these products for a longer and longer time. So, there's no guarantees. At some point there's going to be a cutoff and you have to go to pay for this stuff. But if you claim it now, you can use it for those specific versions. And that's also what it says here. There's more fine print here in the end user license agreement. So make sure to read all of that and how it applies to your specific situation and needs. But for the rest, you can use it free of charge for as long as you wish. So there's no support. You know, if you want to have that, then you're going to have to pay. I think that's fair. But as is, these controls that are out there right now, these versions, you can use those for free forever if that's what you want, right? So that's there. Create an account, do that. Whenever you do, you'll get an email, you get signed up, and they will give you instructions. And then at some point, you'll get to NuGet.devexpress.com, where you can claim your NuGet feed, and you'll have to add that to Visual Studio to actually get started. So obtain feed URL and search for packages. So you'll get to this. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll get your DevExpress NuGet feed URL. So the way this works, you have an account and that gets you a specialized, unique URL to get your NuGet packages from. That's how they set up their licensing. So mine is this very, very specific one. Get your own, sorry. It's really weird that it showed up this way. No, I obfuscated mine, obviously. This is going to have some random string in here that you have to copy and paste and get that into Visual Studio. If you're not sure entirely how, set up Visual Studio's NuGet package manager right here under the getting started. They will walk you through that. Get this URL in there and you're good to go. Now, before we actually go and look at code, I want to point out one more thing is the documentation of DevExpress. It is exceptionally good. So you go to docs.devexpress.com, you will find all the other platforms as well. They have a bunch of controls for all kinds of frameworks, which is really cool. But you go to /Maui and you will have all of this. You will have this get started and you will have documentation for all the specific controls here. If you scroll down, you will get all of this and you will find these pieces of code in XAML. And what I really like is that from this XAML, you can see highlights here, and that brings you to the API doc. So if I click on this text edit, you get a pop-up with what it is, what namespace, what assembly. And if you click on it, you drill into the API docs. You can see, again, what namespace, what assembly. You can see what it inherits from. You can see all kinds of remarks like, hey, what are the different components this text edit is built up on? And you can get all this getting started and all the properties and whatnot. This documentation is just I rarely see this level of documentation, which is really good. That's definitely going to help you. It definitely helped me. So go check that out. Now, quickly, let's switch over to Visual Studio. So Visual Studio here, I already installed the NuGet packages. So if I go to my project, right click, manage NuGet packages, you will see that under installed, I already have the DevExpress. There are several for each control. They divided it up a little bit. So I have the controls, the DataGrid, the editors, the scheduler. I have a couple of those installed already. There are actually updates. So you can see there's updates since I did this. They're updating these packages still for free, which is really amazing. So you can just get those. Then, whenever you've done that, you want to go to your Maui program.cs and do use DevExpress on your Maui app builder, right? So that's a pattern that we see for most third-party libraries, especially if they have visual controls. This is used to wire up the renderers for, all the controls. So we have that. Also, a very important thing that you see here, while this tooltip is coming up, it's not supported for Mac Catalyst and Windows. So this right now, at the time of recording, focuses on Android and iOS only. So the desktop controls, I don't know if they're coming. You should find a roadmap. DevExpress people, if you're watching this, please send me a message. But for now, it's Android and iOS only, but that's fine. That's probably going to be the focus for the most of you, right? So we have that, use DevExpress. Okay, that's all we need to do. Now you can go to your main page and start consuming those controls. So you can see right off the bat, I added a bunch of namespaces, right? So a bunch of namespaces, short names for all these controls, the generic controls one, the editor one, scheduler, DataGrid. You can divide them and name them however you want. And here at the top level, we have this TabView. We have this custom TabView. You can just do control TabView, TabView.items. And then for each one, you have a TabView item, right? So let me actually just run this application while we're looking at this so I can show you the visual representation as well. And you can just do these tab views. And I think they're lazy loading by default. So it will get loaded whenever you go to that page and not sooner. So that would enhance your startup time because it's only loaded when needed. You can give it a header text and all these things. I'm just going to show you a couple of properties, but they have a ton of properties. You can see header content, header font family, header icons. So you can give it icons, icon position, spacing. So there is all these properties that you can use to customize the look and feel of your tabs right here. So if we look at the running application right now, you can see I have this top tabs here in Android, and I can actually scroll through them, right? So I can swipe and I can scroll whenever they go out of view here. Then I can go to the next one. And I think think if I swipe here over the tab content as well, I can just swipe to the next one like this as well. And I'm actually giving you some spoilers right here of the things that I want to show you, but you can see this tab control just is there. We have this little highlight here at the bottom, and then all these options to customize the look and feel here. So I wrapped a couple of demos in these tabs just to use the tab control as well. So here we just have, I just took the new .NET MAUI project template page and put that in a tab. That's how easy you can do it. You can just build it up right here as it were a normal page inside of a tab. You can abstract this into a separate XAML file, link that here, that would work just as well. So we have this normal page. Then we have a couple of editors. So I have these editors right here. Now I have this TokenEdit, which shows the little tokens, right? Like the little tags or whatever you want to call them, where you can add like tags to, I don't know, whatever you were building at that time. And we have this autocomplete. So I can start typing things and it will start completing. It will start guessing whatever I have to do. So here, again, let's go to the next tab, the edits. And here the top one is some kind of a drop down with these tokens. Now the emulator is a little bit slow on my machine, sorry for that. That's not necessarily because these controls or anything is slow, it's just my machine right here. So I set up some data for the code behind. You can see it all in the GitHub repository that's linked to this video. And you have these tokens, right? So whenever I click them, you can see the tokens being added to this dropdown. And whenever I want to remove it, I remove it again, and there we are. Now we also have this autocomplete one. So whenever it's hooked up to the same item source, so you can see the same options in here. Whenever I start typing Gerald, you can see that it refreshes a little bit and I can just do this autocomplete thing, right? So I have that, or I can say YouTube and click that. I can actually clear it. I can probably play with the icons right here, all kinds of options again to customize this. And all you can see is a couple of lines of XAML. You can also do this in code to actually, bind this to an item source. And I want to say, hey, item source provider, because we have item source providers to actually provide the autocomplete options here. And you can put that in there. Now, the really cool thing is we have some options here as well. So what I can also say is hey, I want to have this delay. So it's going to delay a little bit before actually getting the autocomplete things. Or you can say we have this threshold of the character count. So I want to have at least 3 characters before it starts searching. So if I apply that and run it again, it's going to wait until I actually type 3 characters. So not every character is going to be sent back to your server to actually get the results and then come back, right? So that's a little bit to something to not hammer your server too much or your backend, whatever that may be, and actually have some little optimization here to only do it with 3 characters. Whenever this comes back up, I'm going to go back to the edits, and now whenever I do autocomplete, I'm going to say GE for Gerald, nothing happens, and then whenever I do the R, it's going to have that third option, and it's going to show me the autocomplete here. And whenever I click it, it's going to show you the new options. Calendar. Calendar is the next one. So we have this amazing calendar. If I just go there, and you can see it. It's like one line, editor, calendar, boom, max date, selected date. You can do all of that, just one line. And I can go to the calendar. And whenever I have this, let's hide the keyboard here. You can see this full-blown, fully featured calendar. I probably can click on this, right? You can click on the month and you can select the month like this. And probably if I click on the year, you can do the same thing with years. And if I go to 2021, September, I have September 10, which is my birthday, so you can put it in your calendar, and that's the selected date, right? So you can do all of that, and I can select other ones right here, and you probably also have options to multi-select and select ranges and all that kind of stuff, and there's events for whenever something gets selected, so you can build your own calendar app right with this. Scheduler is the next one. Scheduler is always cool too. You have different views for the scheduler, right? So we have the work week view, which is just the 5 days, Monday through Friday. And then we have to specify some things here for the data storage to actually, map your own custom object to that appointment, because an appointment can be anything, right? They don't want to predefine the appointments for you. So what we have here in the Solution Explorer, I have this appointment object, which has an ID, start time, end time, subject, label ID, and location. This can be anything, and you can map it to whatever the thing is that you want to do. And then I think in the code behind here, I'm setting up a couple of appointments, right? So I have this one appointment, subscribe to Gerald, really important one, don't forget, with a couple of things here. So I have these appointments. I can just use data binding for that. So I'm just saying, hey, appointment source is right here. And then I have these mappings, right? So I can map it to whatever it is on my object. So you don't have to, maybe you don't have the power to customize customize your own objects in C#, you can just map them here through these DevExpress controls. And whenever you do, you all set this up, then you can go to the scheduler and you will get this amazing looking scheduler out of the box. I didn't style anything here because I'm not the greatest designer. You know that if you've been following this channel. And we have this great scheduler right here. You can scroll it. I can scroll to other dates, to the sides. You can see, you can go to all the places right here. And I have this appointment to subscribe to Gerald. But now for the, I don't know, the masterpiece, the DataGrid, right? That's the one that always everyone is asking for. So DataGrid, I borrowed the monkeys list from James Montemagno. You might know him. And we have this load monkeys, right? So I'm loading this from his CDN, his static list of monkeys. I'm just getting that from the internet, loading that into my application, and I can show you that as a data set. So whenever I do that, I go to this DataGrid, and you can see it's loaded. I have this list of baboons, and you can see it here in the main page. It's just a couple of lines of code. Again, DataGrid view, item source, and boom, we have monkeys. I can do all kinds of crazy monkey business, pun intended, with these columns. An image column, a text column. You can do mapping, you can block sorting, you can block filtering, you can enable filtering, you can do all these crazy things. But by just adding this, it already shows up like this. We have the monkeys, we have 3 columns. I can sort them like this on location, on name, and actually you can do much, much more. So this is just the view. What you can also do, let's stop it for a little bit, is on this data grid, I can say, hey, drag drop. You can drag and drop, and let's do the other one, drag, drop rows, allow it. Yes, I want to allow the dragging and dropping of rows. You can do that. And then of course there's events to signal that, and you can persist the order of the rows, I could imagine. And you can see all these kinds of things. Allow group collects, allow initially selected row, allow sort, allow blah, blah, blah. There's so much stuff, too much to go over. So if there's something more that you want to know, let me know down in the comments and I'll figure it out. Another thing that you want to do is edit, right? Editor showing, editor show mode. So you can actually depend also on like, hey, do you want to never editor show mode on double tap, on one tap, or tap on the selected row? And let's do it on double tap. So tap on selected row, I can imagine is, I didn't try it out, but I read the documentation, is that whenever you have to first tap to select the row, and then whenever you tap it again, then it's going to edit, right? So there's all kinds of modes that you can choose from to make it connect with your user experience in your app. But for now, I chose the double tap. So whenever I go over to the data grid again, and I see all my monkeys, and I'm like, wait, there's a Xamarin monkey, right? Is it here? Oh, it's not named Xamarin. All right, well, let's do this mooch, and I want to double click it. Now you can see I get this editor, and let's call it not mooch, but let's call it pooch, right? There we go. It was pooch all along. So now you can just edit this stuff. And this is not persisted because this is just loaded from the internet and forgotten after this. But you have all the events, all the triggers to actually persist this back to your backend and have this fully functional data grid right here. Same with drag and drop. So I can just long press this, and now I can start dragging this, and you can see that I can drop it somewhere else so that it's somewhere else in this thing, right? So, and you can block that if things are filtered or sorted right here. So you have all these options, all these controls with these very complete controls by DevExpress completely for free. Don't tell me that you're not amazed by all of this stuff, because I was totally blown away by these very complete and awesome controls. And then together with the documentation, it should be a breeze to get this into your own .NET MAUI application. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Are you already using it, and what projects you are building? And be sure to also check out DevExpress YouTube control, where none other than Carl Franklin, that you might know from the .NET Rock Show, does a lot of videos about .NET MAUI as well. So definitely go check that out. Subscribe to this channel, like this video, and I'll see you for the next one.